Ladies and gentlemen, today we're gathered here to commemorate those men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. You know, traditionally on Memorial Day, the flag of the United States is raised to the top of the staff and then lowered to half-staff position where it remains until noon. The flag is then raised to full staff for the remainder of the day. The half-staff position remembers the men and women who gave their lives in service of their country. Tradition says at noon, their memory is raised by the living, whose resolve not to let their sacrifice be in vain, but to take up arms and to continue the fight for freedom. Over the past 20-plus years, our country has been in consistent contact with our enemy. Thousands of brave men and women have paid the ultimate sacrifice for freedom, while thousands more continue to rise up, honor their memory by remaining in the fight. Today, we remember their courage. We remember their dedication, and we thank them for endowing us with the blessing of liberty and freedom. The service members we honor today came from all walks of life, but they shared several fundamental qualities. They possessed pride in themselves, in their unit, and in their country. They displayed a selfless dedication to duty and integrity, and they demonstrated in their every action a willingness to make the ultimate sacrifice for the cause in which what they believe. They were called to be part of something bigger than themselves. They were ordinary people who responded in extraordinary ways in extreme times. What is that courage, that honor, that duty, that sacrifice that so many of us speak of? You see, it becomes very real when you stand in front of a formation of Marines with the knowledge that the men and women just don't rely on you to show up for work, but they trust you. They trust you with their lives. To fully appreciate sacrifices, to observe Marines as they went through their basic and unit training, constantly giving whatever they had, doing whatever they could to make their team, their squad, the very best. I fully appreciate sacrifice when I was given the utmost responsibility of leading Marines in combat. Watching these men and women willing to give up everything they had, even their lives, for the Marines with whom they served. Today we pause. We pause and reflect on the tremendous sacrifice of our brave Americans. There are stories throughout history where soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, and Marines have paid the ultimate price for freedom. Every one of these brave men and women had their story to tell, a legacy that they left behind. Some of these stories show the true warrior spirit that set American fighting force apart and make them the most versatile and lethal force in the world. Stories like P.F. John Kelly, a Marine, Science and Charlie Company, 1st Battalion. P.F.C. Kelly unit was pinned down by a numerically superior enemy, yet he single-handedly attacked and destroyed an enemy bunker. P.F.C. Kelly continued on his one-man assault, killing at least 7 enemy and destroying 3 enemy bunkers. Stories like Sergeant Frederick Mussert. Mussert was from Pennsylvania, Bravo Company. His action identified what was important to me and struck me that occurred during the Korean conflict. But nevertheless, Sergeant Mussert unhesitantly left his position and ran through a minefield under heavy fire to recover 2 Marines, 2 wounded Marines. Refusing to evacuate himself, he remained with his platoon, eventually moving into an uncovered position to draw fire away from his men. Wounded again, Sergeant Mercer led a charge to an elevated machine gun nest and was mortally wounded as he destroyed the bunker, killing the enemy inside, allowing his Marines to continue the assault. These stories are amazing examples of sacrifice, heroism, and valor. They were ordinary people who answered their country's call. They were transformed to warriors. They ended up as heroes. I realize that it takes much more than a screaming sergeant and a captain to make a service member. It takes a family. As we remember this day, we must also remember those who have been left behind. The mothers, the fathers, the sons and daughters, husbands and wives who truly understand what the price of freedom really is. They're reminded every time they lay a wreath or flag at the headstone of their hero. But just like the flag raises back to full mast, Memorial Day gives me a sense of hope. The memories of these brave souls are raised by the living service members every day. They are raised by young troops who look at making a difference in life when they don the uniform of their service. They are raised at memorials such as this, where Americans, again, from all walks of life, gather together to pay tribute to their sacrifice, to witness the freedom in which we all endure. We must help future generations understand that the act of committing yourself to your country and being willing to fight for the freedom of others is among the most noble of endeavors. You can help further this legacy in many ways by volunteering to help our veterans, by assisting a family member who is grieving due to the loss of a service member, by helping a family member on active duty, by helping any service member, or by visiting those injured in our service and they are attending or resident of our various homes. And finally, and perhaps the most poignant way we can continue to honor our lost service members is to continue to gather together on this special day and what it represents. Each year, we pay homage to each of them. Above all, we can honor those we have lost by living up to the very ideas in which they gave their lives up for, that which they were defending. Their service and sacrifice remind us of what it really means and what makes a nation great. The freedom that we enjoy it because of the brave men and women who are willing to stand guard and to tell us they got our back. Today we honor the fallen and we remember them. We remember all of them.